All right, on the other side, number 5, on that one, we have a radical by itself, and on the right, and that means we should square both sides. Now that's easy to do on the right side. It just becomes 9x. Squaring it just removes the radical. On the other hand, squaring x minus 10 is going to result in x squared minus 20x plus 100. Let me just say that a little multiplication table might help you see that. That's x times negative 10 on one side, or x minus 10 on one side, x minus 10 on the other side. Filling that box is x squared. This one's negative 10x. This one's also negative 10x. And this one is 100. And so here's where you get your negative 20x, because we did negative 10x twice, and you put that together to get negative 20x. Since this is a quadratic, our usual strategy means we want to make that equal to 0. And to do that, we'll have to subtract 9x from both sides, and that'll make this negative 29x plus 100. And then I bet you can see some factors that would result in product of 100, sum of negative 29. I know you know that there's 4 quarters in a dollar, so that you could say 4 times 25 is 100, and negative 4 times, or negative 4 plus negative 25 is negative 29. Okay, so if those are the factors, the solutions are positive 4 and positive 25. Now, we should, as I've said before, when you square something, when you're squaring a variable, you should look and make sure that the answers will check, that you haven't introduced some untrue statement. And with 4 minus 10, if I have 4 replace x, 4 minus 10 is negative 6. Now again, since this is an even root, it can't, there's no number we can put in here that will result in a negative number. Okay, there's no number we can put in for x that's going to make that square root be a negative number. So if I put 4 here, I get negative 6 there. That's not going to work. So this one won't work. 4 is not a solution. 25 minus 10 is 15. And if I do 25 times 9, that's 225, and the square root of that is 15. So that does work. So 25 works, 4 doesn't. All right. On number 6, we have a 4th root all by itself. And so to solve that, we can raise both sides to the 4th power. And then on the left, that's easy. All that's going to, you can't even see what I'm doing there. On the left, that's easy. It's just going to be 2 minus 8x squared. On the right, if we raise that to the 4th power, that's 16x to the 4th. Okay, if we want to get this equal to 0, I think if we leave 0 on the left, we will then have 16x to the 4th. It'll be plus 8x squared and minus 1. No, minus 2, sorry. Okay, because I'm moving these two to the right side of the equal sign where this will become positive and the 2 will become negative. Now they all divide by 2. So we'll make this 8x to the 4th plus 4x squared minus 1. And I don't know a good way to factor that. And I'm not sure what the quadratic equation will do. So what I'm going to do is draw a graph on Desmos quickly. This is 8x to the 4th. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I think I'm going to get a couple of answers out of this. Plus 4x squared. I'm going to draw a picture for you in just a second. Minus 1. All right. So what I did was I looked to see what the graph would look like. Now you could use your graphing calculator to do this. I had my iPad handy, so I used Desmos, and I find out that it crosses at these two places if I put in this equation into y equals. I think you can tell that it's going to have a minus 1 y-intercept, but these 2 points, 0.428, okay, now negative 0.428, these are rounded off answers, and 0.428. Sorry I didn't do more research on that one before I started. Perhaps I'll come back with a better answer to that later. All right, moving on to number 7. This one is actually going to be quite easy because it is fairly straightforward. We don't have, this is not square roots by them, either square root is not by itself, but if we add this to both sides, the square root of x plus 12, then, or another way of looking at it is we can put it on the other side of the equal sign where it will be positive. And now we have an isolated square root on the left and an isolated square root on the right. So if we square both sides, all it means is on both sides we get to just remove the radical. And then we have a linear equation that I think we can find pretty easy. I would next subtract x, make this 2x minus 3, and this is 12, and then next I would add 3, so that becomes 15, and dividing by 2 I'm going to get 7.5. And you should check your answer to make sure that works, and I did do that already, so I know that it works. All right, and the last one, number 8, we have, if we square the left, we're going to get x plus 2. If we square the right, let me just do a quick little box down below, because if we're squaring that, 2 minus root x and 2 minus root x. In this box we get 4, in this box we get minus 2 root x, in this box we get minus 2 root x, and in this box we get x. So if we put all that together, that will be 4 plus x minus 4 root x. Now if we get everything so that it's, if we try to isolate this this other root, because we're going to have to square again, but if we can take off an x from each side and that disappears, and subtracting 4 from both sides gives me negative 2, so now I have this. Okay, an x on each side. I took one off of each side, so they disappeared. Dividing by -4 gives me 1/2. And I have the root of x here. Then now I have the square root by itself, so if I square, 1/2 squared is 1/4. And there we go, we have 1/4. Good luck on your quiz.